Hi, everyone. My name is Carol. I was supposed to get married to the guy of my dreams 4 years ago. His name was Luke. But what happened instead will really shock you. Luke and I dated for 2 years, but we knew each other way longer than that. Initially, we were childhood buddies. We met when we were just 10 and promised we'd be best friends all our lives. We went to middle school together and even chose the same high school. However, we went our separate ways for college as he wanted to pursue engineering and I designing. But our friendship never got weaker. Even our parents were each other's best friends, so that meant we were spending most of our time together. I never had any feelings for him, even though he was a charm. Throughout high school, he was the captain of the basketball team and won hearts of every female with his muscles and good looks. All the girls were jealous of me, seeing how close I was to him. We both dated other people, and there were no feelings up until the last year of college. Luke went out of city for 6 months to complete an internship. We stayed connected through calls. He returned around Thanksgiving, and my family hosted the dinner. When he arrived, I was stunned. Perhaps all these years of being together 24/7 made him appear like a normal guy. Who knew after a 6-month gap, even I wouldn't be able to resist his charm. This was the first time that I noticed his super good looks. That dinner was pretty awkward for me. I blushed multiple times in front of him. I spent the entire night wondering if I had developed a crush on him. The next few days confirmed my doubt, because he was always in my head. I could no longer maintain the bond we had, so I distanced myself. He sensed it, and came over one night to ask me what was wrong. "Why are you so different around me now? We promised we'd never change," he inquired. "I know, Luke, but some things have changed. It's better we stay this way now." "What are you talking about? What change?" "My feelings for you," I blurted out, immediately regretting my words. I was hoping Luke would walk away in disgust, but what he did next blew my mind. "Carol, my feelings for you have changed as well. I may have fallen for you." I gasped, unable to say more. Was this actually happening? Had I really fallen for my childhood best friend? Before I could process all this, Luke leaned in and kissed me, and I right away knew he was the one for me. It's been years to that magical night. We spent our time creating wonderful memories. We toured around the world together and tried on thrilling adventures like skydiving and deep-sea diving. Life was so much more fun now. On our first anniversary, Luke even popped the big question. Of course I said yes. I wanted to marry him, without a doubt. Our parents rejoiced, and we got engaged. We were 22 by then, so we decided to take a year to plan the wedding and then settle down. I fulfilled every fantasy I had for my wedding, from booking the prettiest wedding gown of my favorite designer to booking the most famous venue of our city. We did it all. You must be thinking I got so lucky, right? But this is where things went downhill. 10 days before our wedding, Luke and I went out to dinner. We were thrilled to be hitched in a few days, but on our way back, we got into a terrible accident. Our car slid off the road and collided with a pole. I suffered major injuries on my legs and my head, but I survived. Luke, however, did not. When I woke up in the hospital, I saw my parents and Luke's parents standing there with their eyes swollen. "Carol, thank God you're okay," my mom cried out. Where is Luke?" I struggled to speak, but this made his mother sob louder. My heart sank. What was wrong? Where was he? I tried looking around, but my head felt too heavy. That's when I heard his mother scream, "He is no more!" My world shattered into a million pieces. There I was, planning my dream wedding with my dream guy, and one accident ruined it all. I wasn't able to breathe. I had never imagined a life without Luke. We were always together. I could feel myself going insane. I refused to attend his funeral because I could still not believe he was gone. We had even bought ourselves a new home to start our new life in. Oh God, I was losing my mind. That is when I had a crazy idea, and I knew it was extremely wrong. But I did it anyway. I recovered within a week, but I refused to live with my parents. I told them I was going out of my town to a friend for some time to distract myself from the grief. Of course, I lied. What I actually did was go to the cemetery and dig up his grave. You must be terrified at this. But there's more. I secretly took his body, which was still in good shape, to our new home. I read online to keep it in a cool atmosphere so it doesn't decay. No one knew about my act, so I continued to live with Luke's body, just as we had planned. I would wake up every morning, have breakfast with him, then spend the rest of the day watching Netflix. I would even put him next to me in bed. What's even crazier is that I married him too. Right the next day when I brought him, I read on Google that it was possible to get married without a third person. So I did that and was happily spending my married life. Yes, I crossed all boundaries, but I was so grief-stricken I never realized. We continued our problem-free life for a month. I would clean him and put him into new clothes every day. Up until this one day, the police arrived, and not alone, but with mine and Luke's parents. They took me by such a shock that I was unable to hide Luke's body. Well, turns out our neighbors had detected the nasty smell of decaying corpse and had reported it to the police. Upon further investigation, the police called my parents to find out who was living in the house, and that is how they all ended up barging without a notice. You can imagine the looks of horror on their faces when they saw me inside, and with Luke. His mom fainted right on the spot, and even my mother fell to the floor. With her eyes wide, she shouted, "Carol, what have you done? This is beyond our imagination. Oh, what have you done?" I don't recall much of what happened next, except that I lashed out and the police held me tight. Then maybe I was injected because I blacked out and woke up in a white room next. I was handcuffed on what seemed a hospital bed. "Hello, Carol. You're up. How do you feel?" A male doctor walked in. "Where am I? If this is a hospital, why am I tied to the bed?" I was bewildered. "This is a psychiatric hospital, Carol. Your parents brought you here along with the police after you were discovered living with your fiancé's body." Hearing that coming out of someone else's mouth gave me shivers. What have I done? I needed help, and so I patiently took my treatment in the years that followed. There were many rough days. I missed Luke terribly and would often start screaming out for him in the middle of the night. I even tried to harm myself twice, but luckily the staff saved me. My therapy sessions helped me regain my senses. I learned how to cope up with the grief and trauma and began to realize that what I had done was a horrible, inhumane act. It could have landed me in jail for a lifetime, but the police was kind enough to understand my mental stress and put me up for therapy instead. I am back home now. It's been a year since I have completed my treatment and therapy sessions too. I still live with my parents, mostly because my mom is terrified of leaving me to live alone. It's been 4 years without Luke now, but I haven't fallen for anyone after that. It was a difficult journey. I ended up losing all ties with my friends and family, but I am thankful for my parents and their support. Luke's parents, however, moved to another town after the mortifying incident. I can't blame them. I did drive them all crazy after all.